We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is a meeting of Trinity County Commissioners Court. It's a regular session. The date is Tuesday, May 26th, a little after 9 a.m. Commissioners Courtroom, 162 West 1st Street, Trinity County Courthouse, Groveton, Texas, 75845. Let the record show that Commissioner Worsham is running a little bit late. He's been to the emergency room this morning, but he will be here later. And at this time, I would ask, or welcome everybody who is here, and ask Ms. Sharon Schutz, would you mind giving us an opening prayer? Our folks that we were supposed to have here did not make it. I was just wondering if you would do that for us.
Father, thank you for this time that we can come together and take care of the needs of our county and see how the government process works. We thank you for your hand and your blessing upon us. We ask, Lord, that you'll touch our commissioners and our judge and those of the court, that you'll touch them, bless them, and Lord, use them to further your kingdom and your will and your desire. We love you and we praise you and thank you. Amen.
Amen. Y'all join me and salute our flags.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Let us not forget that we just celebrated Memorial Day and those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for that flag right there. So, next item of business is the public forum. Do we have anybody wishing to speak in the public forum? No hands in the air. We'll move on. Next item of business is approval of minutes of the May 11th, 2015 regular session and the May 12th, 2015 emergency special session.
Make a motion to approve, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Chamberlain, seconded by Commissioner Brown to approve. Any discussion? Not all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. A typo, you said? Oh. How are you this morning, Chris?
Well, stay dry last night.
Well, that's a good thing.
Sleep in my office last night. Yeah, boy, he didn't get to
Sleep in the office. Is that what you said?
Yeah, there was no way I was heading back to my house with all the creeks that I would cross on the way.
Our English teacher got it over here. All right, next item of business is discuss and act on official bonds. We have one for Sheila Johnson in the amount of $5,000. Do you know her?
I'm not sure.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Brown to approve. Any discussion? Not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Pass that down to Shasta, please. Discuss and act on pauper funeral payments. We have none this meeting, so we'll pass over that. Next item of business is discuss and act on approval of claims and invoices.
Morning, how are you, Sheila?
I don't have anything out of the ordinary to discuss. If y'all see something y'all would like to discuss, we can.
That statement for the repairs on the air conditioning across the street, get on here, or do you know?
Clifton Moore, there's the second page has a second to the top. It's Clifton Moore for $2,400.
Yes, okay.
Yes. It's quite a bit that needed to be done over there, but we've been in those buildings for quite a few years, so I guess it's about time for things to start wearing out.
Right, yeah. It's kind of an emergency deal to us when they were having that jury trial over there, and the air conditioner went kaput and we had to get something done pretty quick, so.
I make a motion to approve the purchase orders.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Chamberlain to approve. Any discussion? Not. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. I'm sorry?
Did you skip item 8? They weren't quite ready.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. We'll just put them on the next meeting? Okay. Skip over item 8, the outside auditor. Not ready with their report. Item 9 is discuss and act on approval of receipt, file listing, specified activity report, and payroll register. Mr. Dawkins, the floor is yours.
Gentlemen, y'all should have that in front of you. The shows our account balances, the money that we put in the bank, taken out of the bank for all of the accounts. Probably got a payroll register. You have a copy, Shasta? I'll get you a copy too. Oh, okay. Whenever. Okay.
Bob, for this time of the year, how are we holding up on money?
Looks like we're doing pretty good. I'll know more at the end of this month, because this will be 8 months into our fiscal year.
Correct.
So that'll be a good gauge of where we are, but looks like we're doing okay.
Good.
You never know after all of the weather we've had, so, but we should be fine.
Any questions on that?
I have no questions. Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion by Commissioner Chamberlain, seconded by Commissioner Brown to approve receipt, file listing, specified activity report, and payroll register. Any discussion? Not. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Item 10 is discuss and act on approval of reports for the month of April 2015 of the Justices of the Peace, County Extension Agent, Constables, County Clerk, District Clerk, County Attorney, Sheriff, Tax Assessor, and the Veterans Service Officer. We'll go over the ones I have here. I actually have copy or reports for all 4 constables' offices. Constable Precinct 4 shows a grand total of $842.80. That's civil fees collected and traffic fees collected. Constable Precinct 3, activity report. I'll have a copy of that and you just look over it if you have any questions. Shows 190 hours for that month of April. Constable Precinct 2, activity report. And self-explanatory, 150 hours on that. And Constable Precinct 1. No citations served, no funds collected. There's a brief activity report.
We never did get with them about trying to standardize.
Get a uniform report put together. No.
That would be so much better.
Trinity County Sheriff's Office shows a total of $1,966.56. Trinity County Tax Assessor's Office shows a grand total of $138,247.07. That's a pretty good number for this time of year. Morning, Commissioner Worthington.
Morning.
You feeling all right?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
A lot better.
Trinity County Attorney's Office shows an ending balance of $6,426.35. District Clerk's Office shows a total amount of $8,025.54. County Clerk's Office shows a total amount of $22,072.90. JP Precinct 1, total amount $5,132.36. JP 2, $4,662.15. JP 3, $7,548.75. And JP 4, $5,375.35. That's all the monthlies I have.
Those need to be signed.
Yes, I do. So, we're going to approve them.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Have a motion by Commissioner Chamberlain, seconded by Commissioner Brown to approve monthly reports that have been recorded or reported. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. How you, Mr. Bickley? We're good. I'm good. Oop. Oh, sorry.
I think there's one more back there. What's upside down? Oh. This needs to go over.
Yeah. Our next item of business is discuss an act on the policy on Affordable Care Act measurement periods. Mr. Dawkins, the floor is yours again.
Thank you. Gentlemen, I think y'all should have in your packet, I sent around a little memorandum to recap it. Essentially, what's happening, it's the Affordable Care Act, or what we call Obamacare, is all of our seasonal, part-time, variable employees, we have to track. Two different measurement periods. One is new employees, the other one is ongoing, but essentially we track them for a year. If they exceed 30 hours or more as part-time employees or seasonal or variable, we have to offer them county insurance. Essentially, the county insurance runs about $700 a month. That's the reason you've been hearing over the years about the 28 and 29-hour work week. And what's happened is the Affordable Care Act started with large employers, medium-sized employers. Now they're down to the small employers. That's between 50 and 100. We have about 58 full-time employees. Varies a little, could be 57, 59. So we're in that category. So we have to start tracking this. We've already started tracking it. And this is just the policy to go along to coincide with the law. It's nothing more than that. If y'all are really, really interested in the details, I have a PowerPoint presentation. Shouldn't take more than 45 minutes. If you want to know how we do all of this for every employee, we'll be glad to do that, but I'm sure you don't. But I'll be glad to answer any questions, and if you come by my office sometime, we'll show you the spreadsheets that we've set up to track these. I think this will be very, very important when we get to budget time for the Commissioners Court to make sure y'all set the rules on the number of hours so that some of these employees don't go, if that's your desire, whatever your desire is. But we'll be able, hopefully, to give you some reports before you start your budget process on our part-time temporary employees.
Well, you said we got about 58 employees full-time?
Yes.
How many part-timers?
Our initial list shows us at about 13
Part-timers?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
The only other question I had was on the second to last page, the standard measurement period for Trinity County.
That's the standard measurement period for our ongoing employees.
My question is, why would we start September 1 instead of October 1, which is our fiscal year?
State fiscal year.
Pardon?
State fiscal year starts September.
State fiscal year.
State fiscal year. Plus, after the 12-month period, the HR department has to calculate and report whether or not those employees qualify for insurance, and it has to start the next month.
I got you. Okay,
I did the 30-day period before our October 1.
It was different from the standard stability period, which is why.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did that so that it would coincide. I adopted that period so it coincide with our budget year starting October 1.
Bob, on these 13 part-time employees, none of them are working over 30 hours at this time, or 29 hours, I believe is what we passed last year.
We have some that are going over, but they will not throughout the year. For example, the district clerk's office, Kristen has been out, and so we have, I believe it's Miss Orsack is gone 30 or 35 hours. Well, Mrs. Brown's been out too, and so she's come over, but she's going to drop back down, and we'll monitor that.
Miss Brown's full-time.
But she's been out with that knee surgery.
She had knee surgery, so Miss Orsack's been working.
Oh, okay.
She's been working some extra hours. I think it's, when we monitored it in, I think it was the month of April, she was about 35 or 36 hours a week, but she will drop back down, so we'll monitor that. We may have.
We're in good shape.
We're in good shape so far.
We've got some former state employees that have signed a waiver in the past stating that they don't need or don't want the county insurance. Will that affect them?
We only have to offer it to them. They can decline. We need in the file that form where they decline coverage. And though you'll have several employees, I think you've got one, Mr. Brown, if I'm not mistaken, that he's covered, and so he's declined the coverage, and that's fine. We just have to offer it to them. They do not have to accept it. We have to prove the negative.
I make a motion to approve the policy.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Chamberlain, seconded by Commissioner Smith to approve this Affordable Care Act measurements period policy for Trinity County. Any discussion? Not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Bob, do you need this? I see it shows approval time. I signed and dated it. You need to turn it in to.
I'd like Shasta to get a copy of that and record it.
Okay. We can do that. Our next item of business is discuss an act on accepting a refund in the amount of $45,212.85 from the Trinity County Appraisal District. And this is funds left over from the 2014 budget year with the appraisal district, and they actually distributed funds. I don't have the breakdown on all the entities that received monies, how much it was, but every entity that uses the appraisal district, taxing entity, received this refund. And I commend Gary for keeping a tight budget over there and being able to refund some money.
So moved.
This money, would it just go back into the general fund?
Yes.
Do y'all think it'd be a good idea to earmark it for something that we
can bring that review and bring that back at a later meeting where we can put it in a certain place?
That's what I would suggest, because it ain't very often that we get rebates like this, and I think that we ought to do that.
They'll be thinking about some projects, and we can bring it back to the next meeting where we can put it. I have
I'll second that motion.
A motion by Commissioner Worsham, was it?
Yeah, second by Chamberlain.
Seconded by Commissioner Chamberlain. Okay. To accept those refunds from the Trinity County Appraisal District. Any discussion? Not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next item is discuss an act on 2016 proposed budget for the Trinity County Appraisal District. Y'all, I think y'all have a.
Trying to find a place to put it in this item.
Have a breakdown of that.
Looks to me like that board and Gary's doing a great job over there.
And this budget is just a carbon copy of last year's budget. He didn't increase anything. And like I said, I commend him for that.
That is definitely something to recommend, because I've sat up here for several years and see it go up 20 to 25%. And I really commend the board and Gary over there.
Right.
Make a motion to approve the budget.
I have a motion by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Brown, approve the proposed budget for 2016 year of Trinity County Appraisal District. Any discussion? Not. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. And I've actually got a board meeting at 2 o'clock with the Appraisal District to approve the budget with the Appraisal District.
Is it customary that they always send this out every year, or is this the first time?
No, it's customary.
I don't believe I've ever seen one broke down like this before.
Well, I take that back. The breakdown, is that breakdown on salaries and stuff?
Yeah, it's
I did.
salaries,
I
everything.
questioned Gary about that because he sent well, normally what he sends out is a budget breakdown, but it'll have salaries and they'll all be bunched. And I said, that's not good enough.
Well, this is a itemized, I mean, you could track every penny that's spent over
Exactly,
there, and
yeah.
I think it's wonderful.
Exactly. And
Shows good leadership.
And Gary is definitely on board with transparency over there, so he didn't have a problem in the world with putting together an itemized budget of the salaries and breakdown on it. So. All right, next item of business is conduct a public hearing pursuant to sections 251.151 and 251.155 of the Texas Transportation Code to determine the need for a stop sign at South Mill Pond Road and Company Store Road. Well, at this time, we'll open up the public hearing. I don't think anybody's here from the public. You wish to address the court during the public hearing, or?
Only thing I want to say is, the mill has a fence there and it's growed up on the edge of the road, and, it is a blind corner, and I was approached by a couple of the residents down there that there needed to be a stop sign put there because somebody's gonna get run over. They're not stopping when they come out of there.
Is this where the dirt road comes back up to the?
Yeah, Country Store Road runs north and south,
Okay.
and the Mill Pond sits here, and there's North Mill Pond and South Mill Pond. This is
Okay.
gonna be on South Mill Pond.
Okay.
They just come flying down the road, and new people come around that curve, and it's kind of dangerous, so that's why I was there.
All right, this time we'll close the public hearing and move on to the next item of business. Discuss an act on posting a stop sign at South Mill Pond Road and Company Store Road.
Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Chamberlain to approve. Any discussion? Not. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
This is the one we need.
Hearing none, motion passes. Yes, sir. Is it wet at your house, Mr. Bell?
The River Authority, the Weather Channel said that the lake was going to start receding yesterday. It did not. It's gone up.
30-something, 31 feet, something like that, or is it?
No.
More than that.
31 feet would be somewhere around Liberty. Yesterday, if you had a big truck, you could probably get in and out. Today, you take your life in your hands if you tried.
131, right.
You know, 131 is the normal pool. It's probably at 136 or 7 now.
Okay. All right, next item of business is receive updates on the following projects and discuss an act where applicable. County Energy Transportation Reinvestment Zone, Grant Road Improvement Projects, and Hurricane Ike 2.2 grant funding and project status.
Regarding C-Tours, we're still waiting to finish up a few roads that remain. On the C-Tours grant, I would remind the commissioners that we have in June, the 9th month of the year, according to state statute, to submit our annual road report. I will get you a copy in the next week or so of last year's report If you'll update it, then we'll put it back in the computer and file that in June, one of our June meetings. The county attorney files that with the,
She gets one copy goes to Austin,
one goes to the
grand jury.
grand jury, right? Regarding,
I don't know if they've ever actually looked at it, but
the CTERS grant requirement is that we do that filing, so.
well, it's also a statutory requirement. We just never did it until CTERS.
Oh, exactly, yeah, we're on, this will be the second annual road report that we've done. Regarding the Hurricane Ike 2 grant funding, some of those projects, as you know, are still on hold because of weather. We met with Mr. Bickley, who I would invite up to the podium to let us know what the current status of the Hurricane Ike 2 budget approach might be.
Good morning.
Morning.
Appreciate the opportunity to visit with you. I believe the visit with the paint crew that's waiting to try to paint the elevated storage tank. They are on site. It's all weather dependent. They may get some blasts and some painting done today, but that's weather dependent. Depends on what happens during the week, so they are on site. With regard to the bulk delivery, they've been trying to work some various alternatives to see what the best way to try to expedite that. Would like to visit with a couple of commissioners after the meeting to see what their thoughts are on some of the proposals that we have. There's an opportunity to move the funding that is in question, where the environmental is going to last for an entire year, to the elevated storage tank, to try to finalize the project, the overall project. Did visit with Kirk Johnston Construction. He would prefer not to have his 5% retainage hang out there for a year. Did visit with GLO as well. They're asking what we want to do, and still did not get any much. We got about 2 months after some discussion. I think they agreed that we could potentially shorten it 2 months, but there's no commitment on their end. They have no control over it based on what they've indicated to me. So.
And that's still going into next year?
Yes, still going into the spring of next year before environmental's finalized, before any work could be complete. So if they moved it up, I believe the original projection might have been the environmental would be finished by May. So if you move it 2 months, it'd be finished by March.
And if we do that, we're going to handicap Mr. Johnson from putting in for other bids because he's still tied to this 2.3, is that right?
In visiting with Mr. Johnson, I believe his bonds are covering performance, so it will not, my understanding is it will not impact his bidding, but he will have 5% of the contract amount, or whatever we pay, 1.8 million. So 5% of that will just be help that he will not have access to. Kind of like your income tax, you've got it out there in an account, but you're not drawing any interest on it. The other thing too is fuel prices. You don't know what they're going to do between now and next year. So there are some definite issues that could pop up between now and then, because that was one of the other things he discussed. If he considered it, would there be the potential for escalation in the price in the event that fuel prices did escalate?
It seems to me it would really pay to get that project completed in this particular calendar year.
I would think that the county would want to do that, but there are a couple of issues there. I think one precinct we may have addressed, Commissioner Brown, I want to visit with him about some issues there. The difference between Precinct 4 and Precinct 3 is that Commissioner Brown has other roads environmentally approved that his portion of the budget could be expended on. Commissioner Smith, unfortunately, his roads environmentally approved have maxed out. So he would depend on getting the other roads environmentally approved within the GLO project if it's spent as GLO funding.
let's have those meetings after this meeting, if you would, and then we'll talk about what course to take. The auditors asked me to meet with her too and bring her up to date, since she wasn't able to be part of that meeting we had.
That
So
would be good. And would you rather do it as just those commissioners or a workshop or?
just those commissioners, I think, and then
One-on-one, not together. No more than two at a time.
right. There's only two really involved now at this point. That's all I have, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Bickler.
We talked the other day in that pre-construction meeting about Jungle Village. Danny, we elaborated that he had fixed a cost fix for just the chip and seal and us doing the base work.
Yes.
Yeah. I need to get with you sometime and see what that come out at and what plan, how far we're going to be able to go on that.
I believe we calculated it to just around the curve.
Okay.
Going to the mailbox.
It's gonna make it.
Just where you want it to get to.
Okay. Y'all done talked about it then?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we calculated it, I believe that day, we were visiting out there, and it was, I would have to go back and look at the number, but it came out to about that point.
I'm gonna have enough of a base off of these other projects to put down there to do the base work. I can do that too, can't it? So it's already a environmentally approved road.
Correct. If you have roads on there designated to have a base delivered to, that you want to divert to Jungle Village, it's environmentally cleared.
Yeah.
That just won't, you'll just move it from one to the other.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And I believe in visiting with Danny, he's going to start in precinct 4 in order to allow you to have some time to get those roads ready.
When did we meet? Was it April 28th, 9th, or somewhere along in there? And we agreed that May the 14th was going to be a kind of a starting date, but I think every day since then it's rained. We probably had 15 inches of rain since then. So I don't.
And Danny called me here probably a week or so ago just to let me know that he's still, it's all contingent on weather at this point. And as far as extending the contract length or anything, that's not a problem. We can do that. It's just a change order. GLO has already extended everything into next year, so having it done, drop dead December 31st of this year is not an issue.
Let me ask you a couple of questions, Judge, while Hubbard's here. I don't know whether this declares like Hurricane Ike, but we've got some major road damage. I know I do, and I feel like everybody here does. Does this qualify us to put in for another grant? Although I told Hubbard I'd like to look into that, but I don't know if I'd live long enough to see it put out. But that was kind of a joke, but I'm serious too. But do we qualify? I mean, I have culverts that's undermined, and I'm going to have to either dig them up and crush some rock and put down in there, or some it's getting unpassable for cars. And about 3 of my roads, and Rich just handed me a list of all his culverts and problems that he's got. Do we qualify?
We actually got an addendum to the agenda discussing whether Trinity County has enough damage to qualify for a disaster declaration.
Well,
that we can.
Considering how much damage was done this weekend statewide, I wouldn't be surprised if the governor didn't declare an emergency.
For the entire state?
We can address it once we get in this addendum, but I did find some information last week.
Are we going to do that after this?
Well, we was last week, before this weekend storms down south, so I think you're exactly right.
The dam broke in Bastrop.
That was a small lake, about a 7-acre lake. It wasn't, of course, it was bad enough.
Yeah.
There's one in Montgomery County that's barely hanging on.
Let's move into our addendum. If Herbert, you done with your presentation? Anybody have anything else for Herbert? Not trying to run you off.
Oh, I did ask the questions.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. like I stated, we have an addendum to the agenda. It was posted at 1:55 on the 22nd of May, and item 1 on it is discuss and consider taking action on overall flooding within Trinity County due to abnormal rainfall and consider issuing a disaster declaration.
Judge, I don't know if anybody else did, but about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I picked this up off of Commissioner's Court listserv on the Grayson County judges. And I didn't bring that email with me. I'd copied it out, but he was talking about at that point, some of the counties up in the northeast Texas was declaring these county disasters because he was saying at the time that the threshold for the state was like 34 million. And it went on to you could click on it and it could tell what the individual counties were, what their threshold was. And at that time, I think ours was like around 51,000.
Okay.
And I started calling around different counties and seeing what they was going to do as this thing progressed on and everything. And it seemed like, I know Judge Ford and them did it up in Houston County. And that's when I got in contact with your secretary and see if this is something that, I think this is something, and after this weekend, like Joe said, I imagine everybody's going to jump on board with it because it hadn't done nothing but progressively got worse.
And what this does, declaring a local state of disaster, as so many counties across the state have done, it gives us the ability to try and meet that $51,000 threshold. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Bell, if we go above that threshold, and anything we go above that can be reimbursed through FEMA, is that correct?
We can try.
Yeah, well.
Well, it used to happen now. They put FEMA under Homeland Security after Katrina, and it's gotten a lot more difficult, but used to, I've been here where we've gotten several $100,000 worth of grants off of FEMA once we met that threshold, but that was the FEMA of old. So it is a lot more difficulty to do now, but that's exactly right, Judge, what you just said.
2 or 3 of these roads and culverts that I'm talking about, I'm going to have to address them. If I do it out of my own budget, I know there's time consuming and
document,
but I can't wait 6 years.
Picture it, take a picture of it, keep
it. Do it, take the pictures and all that first, do the work and then apply for it? Is that how it works or what?
Yeah, it's a reimbursement type setup.
But there's no guarantee?
No. Yes, on that, Mr. Dawkins.
Yes, I know it's not my place, but on the early morning news, the governor, at first he declared 20 counties as disaster areas. He moved it up to 37.
Correct.
So it may even be larger than that. Went on the internet this morning to see if I could find the list of those counties. That hasn't been posted yet, but I know it's not my purview, but y'all might want to monitor that and see if Trinity County fall. I can't believe Trinity County wouldn't fall in it, but they hadn't posted the counties yet. So if anybody has any contact with the governor's office, y'all might see if we're in that list.
Those counties, you still have to make that application to the governor's office.
Yeah.
I mean, the governor doesn't declare.
Yeah.
You know, you have to make the application to the governor's office.
I know, but at least you'd be on the disaster list.
Exactly.
That would certainly help in making the application.
Well, that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
That was just the news this morning.
Do what?
Most of them. Anything from San Antonio north? Anything from I-35 from San Antonio north to Dallas-Fort Worth, Wichita Falls, Abilene, maybe, and east, Texarkana, Longview, places like that. They all probably, they were hit hard last night and the last few days. And Houston and Austin both were basically underwater.
Right. As you touched on, Commissioner Smith, that packet we have here, or y'all have here, that has kind of the fill in the blank stuff. That's, I mean, you, like Commissioner Worsham touched on, was document. You got to keep track of man hours that are spent on these projects, machinery hours, fuel consumption, materials, anything dealing with money. Have to keep track of all that, and so we can try and meet that $51,000 or $50-something thousand threshold.
That's the part I don't understand. What's the 51,000? What is it?
That's what the state tells you, that you gotta meet, declare the disaster.
Oh, the county's got to be out 51,000.
Well, not exactly, but you just gotta meet that before it's considered a disaster. Anything under that, you ought to be able to handle yourself.
That ain't gonna be hard.
That ain't gonna be hard to do at all.
I can do that in precinct 3.
Houston County, their threshold is 85,000.
85, yeah.
You know, it's different for different counties.
Yeah.
So where did we get the 51? Is that just a standard?
State Emergency Management does them numbers. State Emergency
And I don't know what they
does them numbers.
calculated off the top of my head.
I don't know if they do it on road mileage or geographics or population or how they do it, but I can show you where the list of county for county is on the.
Is Carl still handling the emergency management?
Him and Sherman kind of in conjunction. Yeah.
Judge, you need a motion to declare this?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Worsham, seconded by Commissioner Smith to approve this disaster declaration. It'll be on the 26th day of May. Any discussion or more discussion? I can just read over the local disaster declaration. What I have here says, whereas the county of Trinity on the 26th day of May 2015 is under imminent threat of widespread or severe damage, injury, or loss of life or property resulting from continuous rains and flooding of county roads, and whereas the judge of the county of Trinity has determined that extraordinary measures must be taken to alleviate the suffering of people and to protect or rehabilitate property. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the judge of Trinity County, or the county of Trinity, that a state of disaster is declared for the county of Trinity, that Trinity County's emergency management plan has been implemented, that this state of disaster shall continue for a period of not more than 7 days of the date hereof, unless the same is continued by consent of the Commissioners Court of the County of Trinity, Texas. That this proclamation shall take effect immediately from and after its issuance.
And I guess this is what's forward to the governor's office, and then he's the one that can continue the 7-day.
Right. Once correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Bell, once it gets to the governor includes us in this declaration, then...
Declaration is not 7 days, it's 30, I think.
Right, yeah. But it's handled by the governor's office then, yeah.
And you all can meet again next week if you hadn't done it and redo yours for 7 days.
Right, okay.
Oh, you have to do it every 7 days?
Well, county declarations only last 7 days.
Yeah.
So, let me understand this. Right. We're starting it today, and it goes for 7 days. So if we go out and do any work, we need to take pictures, document it, all of this stuff.
Right.
Keep up with it.
Anything that you do from this point on, and anything that you know that you have done during this, you might take notes of it, because we'll never know what's going to be included and what's not. But you know that the work you're doing now is because of all this rains and everything. So
I've been doing work for 2 weeks.
yeah, well, just go back and document what you've done. You might not have the pictures, but go back and document it.
Because you already had one declaration before.
Yeah.
It's better to over-document than not to have
Most
the
definitely.
stuff when they ask you for it.
Most definitely.
What's so bad is I had 3 18-wheeler loads of 1x3, the bigger rock, and we've just put it in washouts, just straight across the road. We run out. I want to send my driver up there to try to get some in between the rain. They don't even have none. So we're having to go somewhere else. Jimmy's found some somewhere else that we're going to have to get. So, I mean, it's critical. And the people at Frost said that the whole state is coming in there getting this rock, so there's a demand for it, and
Can I add to what the judge said about documentation, all spot on? One more thing that we seem to have gotten hit on with the initial Hurricane Ike was they really wanted the names of the roads on the timesheets of the road plans. Like if you have a specific road that you worked on that day, you can notate that name of that road actually on the timesheet. For some reason, they wanted that, and I couldn't go back and put that on. And that was one of the areas they really felt like it would help us in the future if we could get the names right on these timesheets.
Like Commissioner Worsham.
Use that work report that I developed for Precinct 2, the sheet that Sam keeps, because that asks the questions, what kind of equipment, what street, what road, what did you do, that kind of stuff. It'd be very helpful in this situation.
yeah, I need to borrow somebody's secretary to help do all this.
I have a motion by Commissioner Worsham, I think it was, seconded by Commissioner Smith. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Commissioner Smith, do you have the order on the stop sign?
Yes, she has it.
Okay.
We got it all signed.
All right.
It goes to her, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that stop sign can be put up now?
Yes. You're only putting one up, right?
Yeah.
You're just stopping South Mill Pond Road at the
Only
intersection.
one.
Yeah.
Not putting one on the north.
What does it say?
Is there already one installed? Because this is two.
No.
No.
That's what I need. See it for you. What it says.
Back on that disaster declaration, I'll get that forwarded to the governor's office as soon as we get done here. So we can hopefully get on the list with all the rest of them.
I think Walter's supposed to be sending you some stuff
Excuse me,
too.
can I get that yellow sheet back from you? I gotta add one more.
Thanks, Rich.
Should be, it says two stop signs, you only want one, right?
That's all I need is one.
I can get that corrected. Y'all hang around for a second.
Okay. I don't know how the other roads y'all have done, or where y'all have had rock put in, but my road has held up pretty good with all this rain.
We had the ditches pretty good shape on that before we done that rock, so it hadn't crossed that. And all, that's probably one of our better ones. That's why we done that road. But our other projects, we can't get the ditches cleaned out to put the rock down on.
And on some of them, it don't matter if they're clean or not, because it's like a lake comes across there.
That's one of the better drainage roads we had, that Piney Creek Road there.
Of course, half a mile away.
Have you been down to Piney? We hadn't.
Piney had almost, it had got off the road at Lacey and is almost off the road at Wood Lake. It hadn't been off the road in Carmona for, today would be 2 weeks. It's been on the road at Carmona. And I think it was probably got off there today if it wouldn't have been for last night.
Yeah.
But now it's all, just looking at when I come across 94 there a while ago, I'm sure it's all back across at Lacey and Wood Lake.
We went to Lufkin Sunday afternoon, and the Natchez River over on 59, it liked about 2 foot, the water hitting the bottom of the river, the train trestle.
Riverside is about 4 feet from the trestle. If you have a boat with a windshield, you wouldn't be able to get underneath it.
Still stranded down on Bell Road.
Doug Bell Road is completely flooded. Most of the people have evacuated Sportsman's Oaks.
Well, we haven't got the water from Dallas yet, have we?
Some of it's been
Some
here.
of it, but yeah.
Or is most of them, have they built up, or is there gonna be some house damage down there? Is most of them houses
Most of
built?
them are elevated, yeah.
What about Deep River? Isn't that Trinity County?
That's in,
No,
that's
that's not. That's Walker County.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank the Lord.
But that was a bad one. They tell me that new road 3151, is that the number on that road? Goes from
Oh, yeah.
230 to 980.
I bet that bridge was
Underwater.
They said it was going over the bridge. They've shut that
Yeah, because
down.
it's low.
People ever call you up there?
Yeah.
You get a line.
Well, I told them,
We
there
will.
was nothing in the commissioner's court minutes saying that the county, the commissioners accepted the dedication. But I promised I'd keep looking.
Highway bridge down there out of Wembley. State Highway Bridge.
I seen it.
I was told that one of our former residents, who's now deceased, was out there at the road when they were building it, and he told them that your road's going to be underwater when the river floods. And they told him, no, our engineer said it wouldn't. He said, well, if you looked at the marks on the trees over yonder, where the water marks are, he says, that's higher than your road.
Didn't even have to have an engineering degree to figure that out, huh?
That new road?
Yeah. You know, every time the river floods enough, the people are back to where they were before they
Oh,
were
but
built
you
the
didn't
road.
fool with that road, did you? Oh, okay. Just check.
I'll say, don't take that engineering degree comment personally. If nobody has anything else, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Commissioner Smith, second by Commissioner Brown. We adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We stand adjourned.